You know, it looks like the United States is captive to a stereotype about Russia and China.
Yes.
That is, predicated on they're godless communists. They have no innovation. Everything they have to steal from someone else. And they really need us. That China and Russia can't get by without us. And yet, you've seen that all of that is false.
Well, it's the exceptionalist mentality. No? You live in the US, you know how it works, and you work inside the system, and you saw how it works in the system.
Yeah, what do you think the prospects are now for, like Russia, as a result of the special military operation and ensuing sanctions? Was used to buy Boeing aircraft or Airbus, or both?
Before that, we used to build our own airplanes. This is why the sanctions have put us back on track in a situation when we understand and we are not going to abandon it. We are going to manufacture our own airplanes.
Yeah, that's my understanding is in the last couple of months, Russia has tested already, flight tested, two new commercial airliners that will, so you no longer have to buy from Boeing or Airbus. And what do you think the prospects are that Russia will sign an agreement with China, and China, with its industrial capability, will start producing these aircraft?
Can you imagine China mass producing these Russian commercial airliners? This is something they can do like this. Can I ask a question to Alexander?
Absolutely.
I think it
All right, folks, hold on just a second. We've got something important to share with you. First off, a big thank you for all your incredible support. Our team's been putting in the hours, really working hard to bring you insightful guests, new and improved formats, solid, high-quality analysis every week. Our next goal, hitting that 100,000 subscriber mark and getting that silver button. Let's make it happen together. Every like, comment, share, and subscription truly helps us grow and keep improving. All right then, let's get back to the video.
Yeah, I think it complements what we're discussing. The Chinese launched the Go West campaign in 1999. Okay, we developed the eastern seaboard. We're starting to develop the center. We need to develop Xinjiang and Tibet. This was quarter of a century ago. Do you see any similarities with President Putin? One of his top priorities is the development of the Far East, Siberia and the Far East. Are they complementary projects? And do you think that President Putin looked at the Chinese model and said, okay, what they did east to west, we can do here from east to west. What they did from west to east, we can do it on the opposite here. Because it's a national project of development, an area in Russia that was neglected so far, right?
Well, I agree with you, but at the same time, not quite. In fact, we are currently developing infrastructure projects in the direction of China. Well, not only China, let's say to the east. But why? Because the West has rejected our resources. But the purpose of the development of Russian economy cannot be overseas oriented. It is a good direction. This is a profitable direction. But the purpose of the Russian economy has to be development of the domestic market, building sovereignty at the expense of the internal resources. Because getting an effect and reclaiming your sovereignty at the expense of external sources is something that no country can do. And because the answer to the question what sovereignty lies domestically. Development of our own resources, key economic industries and financial resources, and as a consequence, we'll get an opportunity to define our goals and our agenda to achieve our own objectives. This is what sovereignty is about. Therefore, the change of this geographic the directions or orientation is not the root cause, but the consequence, because Russia has revised its development concept. What the West fails to understand, yes, of course, we can go back to the West on our own terms and conditions, but this will not be our goal, but the consequence of our development. This is why I'm confident that we've been discussing it with Larry. Sanctions proved to be helpful because they changed, reshaped our mindset, and they gave an answer to the question, who are you? What are you, Russia? You are a sovereign state that is able to actually provide for itself. And this new understanding enabled us to build our economy, policy, and our life in a new way.
The sanctions angle is fundamental, because even under sanctions, Russia has this national project of incorporating the Russian Far East and Siberia to the rest of the Russian economy, which is what the Chinese did 25 years ago, incorporate the West to the Chinese economy. But in terms of sanctions, for instance, when we travel in Iran, and we see what 40 years of sanction does to a country. You arrive in the port in the Caspian, you think that you are in the 1970s.
Right.
Nothing is modern. They have to catch up, of course, because there was no possible investment. But at least Russia, you are already in a much higher stage.
What did the West do? We cannot say that everything is negative. We cannot underestimate the perspective and potential of the West and its strengths. The global system, let's take the financial system. Its dominance is not because dollar is printed in the United States, but all institutions, the majority of institutions worldwide, support the dominance of dollar. It is the International Monetary Fund. It is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. These are insurance companies. The entire system is built in such a way so that it preserves the reign of dollar. But let's ask this question. Can any country afford to use its own currency? Formally, yes. But realistically, no, because there is IMF, the International Monetary Fund, that has imposed the rules of issuance of currency and the rules of development. Why? We can ask this question, where? Until now, is gas price defined, oil prices are defined, and commodity prices are defined. Western countries, such as European countries or the United States, have built exchanges where do they produce oil or gas? They resell oil and gas, and they generate a delta. It is an answer to the question that it is a very comfortable form of control. You are producers and we can help you sell your products. But this system will not work. And the countries that have joined BRICS are asking this question. If our share of global GDP is 40%, why do we have to be guided by the prices that are defined elsewhere? And that's it. The West has created a problem for itself by opening the eyes of different countries to the system of relations that has been built. And no one can go back. Everyone understands it now. This is why countries are switching over to using national currencies in settlements. They start declaring the principles, the pricing principles for their products, and they want to build real trading and financial relations built on trust and justice. Where there is justice in trade, in customs restrictions and customs duties. This is the mistake that is made by the West? Well, the West is putting restrictions on itself and is closing down its development prospects.